Hey there everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at a pretty new book out from Fantagraphics called The Extraordinary Part. This is volume 1 of at least 3 because I've seen volume 2 in digital format and it still had to be continued. So I'm very much looking forward to this whole series being in print. Like I said, I read this through Europe Comics online. And honestly, I'll admit, this is a book that I had seen on Rupert Emilote's Instagram, seen some of the previews, found it on Europe Comics, read it on there, and then was like, Sean, you gotta try and get this book and publish it. But obviously, it was already, Rupert Emilote have obviously an ongoing relationship with Fantagraphics. They've published a lot of their work, their collaborations with Olivier Schrouwen and Bastien Bavez and stuff like that. So it was always the case that Fantagraphics was going to publish this, but it's something that I was such a fan of that I was like, oh, Sean, you got to try and print this book. But either way, Fantagraphics obviously does a great job with their books, and I'm really happy to have a physical copy of it. So this is an awesome, like, kind of near future, I don't even want to say dystopia story, just a near future sci-fi story with some of the most intense and amazing visuals. Like at Rupert Emilote, I just love what they do because they're just all over the place with each project is totally different, but they have a consistency of touch to their work, their line work, the way they handle colors and stuff like that, that is varied per book, but consistent in a way as well. So a consistent vision with a lot of variety is really, really compelling to me. What you get here is this world in which these creatures called the Wholes, W-H-O-L-S, show up, and that right out the gate just gives you these beautiful visuals of these kind of crazy Henry Moore sculptures public art sculptures gone wild, but they're alive and the coloring on them is amazing. And then this one you get introduced first to this character, Orsay's living with his dad, and Orsay has this interaction where these walls are explained to be pretty much like not aggressive. They're just part of the landscape. People like them. They're pretty, you know, but this one for whatever reason gets kind of aggressive, and the wolves are known to not like water. So he sprays the water on it, and it infects his hands and kind of gives him the ability to manipulate his hands. And, you know, we're on page 15 of the book here, so I don't think I'm really giving away spoilers. I don't want to give away too much because it's a new book, and I definitely think you should buy it. It's an amazing piece, but enough to give you a taste of what's in here. So you have Orsay, who's now gained this power. It's starting to be where there's like these events, you know, where people are protesting either for the rights of the Wholes or they want to remove the Wholes because sometimes like this, they just accidentally cause damage. And so there's these protest things, and Orsay starts to meet other characters like Basma here, who's a pro-wall activist. He also starts to meet some other people like Melek and Vicento, this character here. This character here, who obviously also have some type of powers like he does. So there's a bigger rebellion political picture building that's not quite 100% culminated in this first volume, but it builds. You also meet another kind of outsider character who's got these powers and has learned to control them better, Juliet. So she's kind of training Orsay. It's an interesting little like sci-fi / superhero superpower story, you know, where he's getting the training and all of that. But the feel of it's different. It's very, like you can see, down to earth, with these like strange moments. And then they eventually, and this is where the book just gets really amazing to look at, they eventually learn to like connect with the Wholes kind of psychically, and they go into these strange meta places here where they have some kind of contact and communication with the Wholes, and you get these very surreal imagery like this chunks of meat peeling off of the Juliet character, and they're back in there like trying to put that on, and then, you know, the Wholes kind of like immune system attacks them, and the visuals and the colors in these sequences are just absolutely stunning. I don't want to give away much more than that because it's just, you know, there's all kinds of stunning imagery that I don't want to give away, because you should go get the book yourself. And you see here that this is the end of part 1, and we learned that the character's got powerful eyes. So the next book, I believe, that volume 2 is called Juliet's Eyes. And so I think each book's going to be, you know, one of the characters. Probably one of them will be Malek's head, and there's just different characters with their different powers. And I'm not sure where it's all headed, but I'm very, very excited for it. Again, even not like these crazy drawings here, just even these very down-to-earth drawings, they're such good composers. I have no idea what the collaborative relationship is between these two, if one's the writer and the layout artist and the other's the inker, and they go back to the colors. I don't know, especially because they've been involved in 2 other projects where they as a pair collaborate with a third artist. It's very, and there's a similarity in looks even on those books they collaborate on. It's very hard to tell who's doing what. And so that kind of mysterious aspect of their collaboration, I think, just makes this all the more compelling to me. But really, really powerful artists. Really glad to have a physical copy of this book. As you can see, it's a nice big book, beautiful reproduction, you know, really nice fanographics. And this will sit really, really well on the shelf with the other works of theirs I have. So really, really highly recommend it. Love it. Really glad to own a copy. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel and you want to support us, you want to see more reviews like this, there's 2 ways to do that. First one is through our Patreon. We have 2 different tiers of engagement there. The first tier comes just with early access to our videos. There's usually like 2 weeks to 2 months in the queue, depending on where I'm at in my reading cycles. And you can also, at a higher tier, get exclusive access and voting rights to control the story in our ongoing webcomic experiment with AI, Pranay Day. You'll also get exclusive peek at artwork from graphic novels that Sean and I are working on, our own personal graphic novels. So a lot of cool stuff there. Any of the money that we make from Patreon just helps us buy the books so we can keep doing these reviews and keep exposing you to cool new art and cool new books. So we really appreciate that. And then if you want to support Living the Line itself, the best thing to do is support what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at one of his projects now. Centralia is an awesome, gorgeous comic by rising Dutch star Miel van de Peet. This is his first work. It's a really great sci-fi story. There's a world in the future where the sun has gotten so hot that people can't be on the ground. So they have to run around. There's a lot of conceits that go with that. You know, what is the world that looks like? And I think you can see by the art that Sean's description of this book as like a Moebius for young adults, a YA Moebius, is a really great description of this really gorgeous and like wild, wacky, fun book. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.